everybody. Just got back from Saudi Arabia, where we had the first Blackhat MEA, Middle East Africa conference. Last year was the very first hacking conference ever in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Between the two events, I believe it was about 100,000 attendees, and it was astonishing to be part of both events. The reason I'm making this video is just wanting to say thank you to everyone who was involved, from Informa to the Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity and Programming and Drones. I believe it's a non-government organization that sort of interfaces between drone licensing and a bunch of different things. And I tell you what, for being the second hacking conference ever, it had the maturity level of a 15-year, over and over and over, year after year conference here in the States. I got a chance to interview quite a few people prior to the conference, as I'm the official host of the Blackhat MEA podcast. I think we did 6 or 7 episodes, and I think we'll probably do a lot more this year. And some of my friends or colleagues or acquaintances have mentioned, I wouldn't go to Saudi for a trip, whether it's not understanding the culture, and there's definitely a cultural gap. It's not a tourist destination that we could just go to with no visa for a long time. I just wanted to give my first impressions. First of all, I could never be scared of traveling to a country that has a cheesecake factory. I mean, we stayed at the Hilton. It's a 5-star hotel and lives up to its name. Service was impeccable. Every Saudi national that I got to interact with, whether it was people driving to the event or checking in at the hotel, English was impeccable, if not flawless. And more than a handful of times, this one time I was checking in through security going into the conference, and the guy's like, "All right, bud, come on through." And this is a Saudi guy. And I'm like, "Where did you learn your English?" He goes, "The Ohio State University." Like, dude, you studied there for 4 years? He's like, "Yeah, I lived there for 4 years." And then he came back, and I got to meet a ton of other people who are in their fields. The CISO for Kuwaiti Oil, she's on the board. She's a Harvard Business graduate. She was leading a federation of women in cybersecurity, trying to encourage more women to join into the cybersecurity ranks and be a sort of a trailblazer. And her, the CISO of the Bank of Egypt, and 3 women who I got to talk to outside the event before everyone was going back in. They were all more qualified than most everyone I know. And very loyal to their culture and very enthusiastic to explain questions. Everyone was really proud of who they were in a way that didn't diminish other people's cultures. And that's something, as someone who's traveled, is really nice to find. If you travel within the U.S., sometimes you get people who are very open-minded and who's like, "Oh, okay, you believe this, cool, we believe this." But our politics lately has people kind of picking one side or the other, and that sucks. And it was nice to be able to travel and have people be proud of their local traditions and cultures. We got to go to this amazing restaurant and see guys doing, I guess we would call it flag manual, but the Saudi flag and a traditional dance, swords, and the swords were very, very much like non-commissioned officer swords in the Marine Corps. And the way we do flag manual at our football games is 4 people across, and so many similarities, and everyone's having a good time, and we're eating local dishes. And I learned that the most expensive rice in the world is it's Hisawi rice. Hisawi rice. It's 13 or 14 US dollars per kilo. The most expensive rice in the world, and it has to grow at 48 centigrade, which is 115, 120. Fahrenheit, and it has to be in water 5 days a week. Like, think of how you're cooking this stuff in a hot tub, but it's super nutritious. It's actually really, really tasty. We got to try local dishes to Jeddah and Riyadh and see so many people from all over the world kind of coming together for this hacking conference. We had a Tesla booth where David Colombo, who is a famous hacker of Teslas, so to speak, from Germany, came in. We had a 12-year-old Italian boy giving his first talk ever on stage 4. I believe it was the first or the second day of the conference. And the CISO of MasterCard, Coinbase, Philip Martin, gotten to know him, become a friend of his, CISO of Robinhood, Caleb Sema, brilliant, largely credited with being one of the sort of pioneers of application security. All of the guests, including Frank Abagnale from the movie Catch Me If You Can, all of the attendees, except for maybe me, were heavy hitters. It was a very rare opportunity to be able to get everyone together and traveling and being exposed to a new culture and a whole bunch of enthusiastic kids from everything from like 12, 13, 14 years old competing in capture the flag competitions. I think last year was just insane. The people who won it were all in the 15, 16, 17 range from like Poland. And then we had a US team and Korean teams. And these are all teenagers competing at the top levels of the world. Last year, Bruce Schneier was there. That was epic. And this year was it was better. It was more organized, even though the first event was in COVID with logistics problems and personnel shortages. I am extremely proud to be able to be a co-founder of this conference and wanted to say thank you for the privilege to Informa, to everyone on the Informa team and the Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity and Programming and Drones. Absolutely incredible. I can't wait. I hope, I believe the word is inshallah, to God willing, be allowed to come back and continue to participate. It's really cool to see a country taking ownership of what's going on, because I don't know if you know this, from what I've been reading, Saudi Arabia is a massive target for ransomware attacks. And why? Well, money, probably. I don't think it's a coincidence that first world nations, the ones who are the wealthiest in the world, like Japan, United States, Saudi Arabia, other Gulf countries, are all becoming targets of ransomware because they have more means to pay. It is not a solution that anyone has a solution for yet. It is going to require a lot of thinking, a lot of collaboration, and that's why these events are so vital, is building community, sharing ideas. And I can't believe how many people studied English or grew up here or lived between back and forth. I personally have spent, more than a third of my life outside of the United States and grew up in Japan. So I'm kind of used to that, but a lot of people aren't. So if you watch this, if you have questions about traveling to Saudi Arabia or other Gulf states like the Emirates, going to Dubai to go to GITEX or GISEC, depending on what you want to see, there's really amazing things all over the Gulf. And it's incredible how fast they get stuff done. So thank you again to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Informa for putting on this event, Blackhat, and the Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity and Programming and Drones. Everyone was fantastic, and if I can be of help or service, please let me know.